This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. I get a fair number of emails from readers and listeners saying things like, okay, Jeanette, I get it. I'm supposed to line up with what I want in order for it to manifest. But how exactly do I do that? What am I supposed to be doing? And I'll respond with something like, you just practice having what you want, however you can, whatever way feels best to you. And they're like, yeah, but how? How do I practice having what I want? Oh my gosh, there are so many ways for us to do that. So many ways to line up with what we want, and none of them are wrong. It doesn't even matter how we do it. It only matters that we do it. Ooh, I really like the way one of my fellow creators said this the other day. Alex said, the technique isn't as important as the consistency. She's so right. But when I say that to them, it isn't helpful. They're just like, how? What's the process? So I've talked about this before. I have so many resources that outline different ways to shift your frequency to match your desire. Ooh, remember my periodic table of manifesting? I did that years ago. I really like it. But maybe it's time for a refresher. Ooh, it's a perfect time for a refresher, in fact, because I want all my new vibe calibration clients to be well-versed with these methods, since we're going to be using some of these in our private alignment sessions. Speaking of private alignment sessions, for those of you who read last week's newsletter about my new offering that is not coaching, it's probably better to refer to it for what it is instead of what it isn't. It's just straight up alignment work. I'm calling them vibe calibration sessions because they're just for lining up the vibration in real time together. Not for talking about alignment, not for studying the manifesting process, not for looking for blocks to eliminate or pondering why things are the way they are. We're just doing straight up alignment in real time together. And the reason we're doing that is because a lot of us conscious creators have a gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. I know that gap. I've experienced it myself. So we're closing that gap together on whatever it is that you want to manifest. That's what I'm doing with those calibration clients. That offer sold out pretty quickly. Yes, I probably will be doing some in the new year as well. If you wanted to reserve some, this would be the time to do it before I raised those prices, because I did price it as an introductory thing. Anyway, I'm saying that this is the episode I'll be asking all my calibration clients to listen to, just so they're well-versed on what each of these methods are. But I figured all of us can benefit from it. So the next time someone asks, yeah, but how do I practice having what I want? I'll have this episode at my fingertips to point to. And I'm certainly not covering all the ways, just a handful of my favorite ways. There are too many to cover in one episode. I've got like 36 on the list, but what I'm covering here today are just a handful of my personal favorite ways to line up our vibration with what we want. And you're going to know these when you hear them. There's nothing here you haven't heard before, probably. These are not secrets. These are tools of the trade for conscious creators, but they only work when we engage them. Okay, so let's see how many we can get through on this list, starting with the most classic, tried and true. In fact, you know what I ought to do with each of these? Maybe just do a quick demo on each one so it's crystal clear what I mean by it. That would probably be helpful. In fact, you know what I want to demo? I would like to activate the vibration of my fab new tech support that I'm calling in. That would be smart, because then as you're listening, I would be benefiting from your powerful focus on co-creating that with me. But let's do it on a topic that's probably more relevant to more people. In fact, let's do money, just because this episode is a free resource. And those of you who already have your money vibration figured out, you can afford to get support with everything else. So let's do money. Although if it gets boring, I'll probably switch it up to something like love or ideal body or fabulous tech support for my business. Okay, let's start with the gold standard of harnessing our imagination on our manifesting behalf and talk about seeing it in your mind's eye. I am actually calling this one paint the picture. This is where you just tell me what it looks like when you got what you wanted. You describe the scene of it in as much or as little detail as feels right to you. So if I were going to demo this one on plenty of money, let's see, what do I see when I am having the experience of plenty of money? Hello, payment receipts in my inbox, emails with subject lines like, you received a payment, or notification of payment received, or royalties received. And I just see them over and over and over again. They're just tumbling over each other. They keep coming from all sorts of things, from ebooks, from home study courses, from GVU memberships, just a ton of payment receipts. And what else do I see? When I log in to check bank balances, I see lots of extra. There's a lot flowing there, and it is accumulating, even though I keep transferring it to savings accounts and investment vehicles. Man, that stuff adds up fast. Look at those numbers. It's a wonder. Wow, that's a lot of money. What else do I see as I'm painting this picture of having plenty of money? On my spreadsheet where I track this stuff, holy moly, some of those months are numbers that used to be my entire year. Look at this. It's like money's exploded all over my spreadsheet. It's everywhere. Okay, that's kind of what I would see. Your details will be different when you practice this one, but that's kind of what we're shooting for here. What does it look like? Just describe it. We're using our imagination to practice having it in our mind's eye before it manifests so that it can manifest in our reality. All right, that's one method. Here's another one, the what and why. That's where you tell me what you want and why you want it. And you do that without invoking the contrast end of it. For example, if I were manifesting an abundance of money, what I want is financial freedom. Or I want so much money that I never have to look at another price tag again. Whatever I want, I have the confidence that I can afford it, or something like that. You put it in your own words. Okay, that's the what. Then we describe why we want it. And this can be the trickier part because it's easy to end up talking about why you don't want to be broke instead of why you want to be wealthy. And those are different things. Let me demo. Why do I want an abundance of money? Because it feels good to know that I can do whatever I want to do. I could treat the family to a nice meal, or I could book the trip that I've been wanting to take, or I can see what it's like to hire a personal assistant to do things in my world that I'd love for someone else to handle. Or how fun would it be to pay off a rescue group's veterinarian bills? Wow, in one fell swoop. Another reason I might want it is to just enjoy the freedom to choose whatever my most favorite thing is. To know that money is no object, the freedom to choose, the ability to help, the means to enjoy whatever my favorite things are. That's why. All right, that method is from Abraham Hicks' work, where they tell us that's a great way to activate the vibration of your desire just by focusing on what you want and why you want it. But there is another element to play with along those lines, which is why you believe you can have it. I actually use that as a separate alignment exercise in itself sometimes because the what and why, sometimes that's enough of a stretch, and coming up with reasons to believe on top of that can be tricky for some people. So we do these in bite-sized steps. But if you can make this list of reasons to believe, you will have even stronger alignment on your side. So let's do that one next. Reasons to believe that what you want will manifest. This is where we just list reasons why we believe it's possible for our dream to come true. And it doesn't have to be a long list. A list of 3 is as powerful as a list of 30. The point is just to be focused on why we believe it's possible instead of doubting that it is or worrying that it isn't. We're just replacing doubt with belief or strengthening the belief that we already have. So for a demo, why do I believe it's possible to have an abundance of money? Well, on my list would go, plenty of other people have this. Why not me? They're not any smarter or nicer or better connected than I am. You know who's connected? Me, with my inner guidance. That's a connection that cannot be beat. And I'm fostering that connection right now just by making this list. Woohoo! Another reason to believe, money's just energy, and I'm a pro at managing energy. I'm doing it right now. Another reason to believe, because I desire it, and I know that whatever I desire, as soon as I do, it exists for me on some vibrational level. Anything that could happen is happening right now on some vibrational level that's kind of hard for me to wrap my brain around, but I've been studying enough quantum physics to know that multiple parallel realities thing is a thing, and in one of those versions is me having an abundance of money. And I'm tuning myself to that reality right now just by going through this exercise. Okay, your list of reasons is going to be different than anyone else's. It might include things like, well, I've had it before, and anything I've had before I can find my way back to again. Or maybe you're close to others who are having this experience themselves, and that's always a good sign of your own alignment when you can see it in others. But whatever reasons to believe come up for you, that's what the exercise is. Just focus on those reasons to believe. Okay, our next method is to script the success. That's where you tell me about it as if it had already happened. You find the words that you're going to be speaking once it's a done deal. I'll demo that on our financial abundance example. So, imagining myself having plenty of money and telling someone about it. Okay, I'll have a little bit of fun with this one. Dude, I gotta tell you, you are not gonna believe this, but guess who has the winning lottery ticket from last week's draw? I haven't told anyone else yet. My heart's been pounding so hard ever since I found out, but it's me. I've got the ticket. Can you believe it? I'm still deciding whether I'm going to stay anonymous or not, and also getting some financial advice on the best ways to receive it and what to do with it once I do, but I could not wait to tell you because I know you'll be as happy for me as I am. I'm so happy. I won the freaking lottery. Can you believe it? Me. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Okay, it's just like that. We're just making it up. And it could be different each time that we script. We don't have to stick with the same story or the same details. And technically, not to be nitpicky, but technically what I just activated with that, it was winning the lottery, not having an abundance of money. Astute players will know there's a difference. But don't let your technicalities ruin a good activation. Just have fun with it however you can. All right, here's another method. Activate the vibration. I really like this one. It's where you identify the essence of how it will feel to have what you want, and then just riff on that vibration. Talk about things that make you feel that way, or recall when you've had it before, or describe, elaborate on what it feels like to feel that vibration. So, if I were doing this on an abundance of money, when I ask myself, how does it feel to have so much money, more than I could ever spend? How does that feel? To have so much money, it's just piling up faster than I can spend it. All right, this is going to be super personal for each of us. It's potentially different for everyone, but as I tune into it, you know what it feels like? It feels appropriate. It's like it makes sense. This seems right. This is how it was meant to be. But the answer almost everyone else gives is something like security or freedom. A lot of people say excited, but you got to practice having it past the excitement because that will wear off after a little while. But a common answer on financial abundance is freedom. So let's activate freedom. Ooh, and this is a fun vibration to revel in because it feels like the freedom to choose, the freedom to relax, the freedom to enjoy, the freedom to have whatever I want. It just feels expansive. It feels delicious. It feels kind of like that time I broke up with a boyfriend and the whole world opened up to me, like the whole world was my oyster again. It was an appropriate breakup, not a heartbreaking one. I could do whatever I wanted again. I could do it whoever I wanted to with. I could watch this show or not. I could go to that party or not. I could talk to this handsome guy or not. I could do whatever I wanted. The whole world was just waiting for me to say yes to it. Oh, that's what freedom feels like to me. Kate, just like that, a little riff. Get creative with it. Super easy, right? Super easy and super fun. All right, our next method. Ooh, I like this one too. I like all these. I wouldn't be playing with them if I didn't. That's to give 3 answers to 3 questions. Actually, that's important for all of us. Don't use a method that you don't enjoy. It defeats the purpose. All right, giving 3 answers to 3 questions. That's when you give 3 answers to the question, what will you see when you have what you want? What will you hear once you have what you want? And what will you feel, like kinesthetically? What will you touch that shows your dream came true? This is an excerpt from the Psych K process of instantly rewriting beliefs, and I think it just provides a really powerful visualization exercise. So what will I see when I am swimming in money? What will I see? Well, I kind of already described it. It was like those email payment receipts spilling in one after another after another. My financial spreadsheet that looks like it's on steroids because it's gotten so big. Woohoo! And also, I'm keeping more cash on hand because I love being able to leave giant surprise tips in the world. Woohoo! All right, what will I hear? 3 answers to that. Oh, I hear a friend saying how hard it is to shop for me because I'm Miss Moneybags now and I buy whatever I want. Or I hear my dad saying how happy he is that I found such great financial success doing what I loved. I hear my dog saying, but why can't we have another treat? Because they know there's plenty more where that came from. I'm making these up on the fly. What will I feel? This is a trickier one to answer. Sometimes I end up answering it like, what will I feel emotionally? Although in the Psych K process, they meant, what will you be touching? Because you really want it when you're engaging all your senses in this dream come true reality. Ooh, it's a powerful activation. So what will I feel? Ooh, I feel the satisfaction of still driving my 2003 Ford Focus because no matter how much money I have, she's still my favorite car to drive every day. She's parked right next to my 66 Caprice, which also got a lovely little makeover. Not a giant one because I still wanted to recognize her when she was done, but she got some of those rusty spots fixed. And that's because I just had so much money I was trying to think of ways to spend it, and that seemed like a good one. So I feel the smoothness of her quarter panel on my 66 Caprice. Man, I love that car. I also feel the rumble under my feet of Chad starting up his favorite cars. Chad's a giant fan of the louder and the faster, the better. So when he fires up one of his cars, yeah, the ground shakes. That guy. But I was happy to send some of my money his way to do what he always wanted to do with his cars. Super, super fun. Now, I gotta say, those technically weren't the way they intended those answers to go, but I want to play loosely enough that I'm having fun with it. The way the Psych K people meant was that they want you to give answers that are so directly connected, so obvious that even a toddler could tell that your dream had come true. And none of my answers were technically that. Like seeing the emails rolling in, that just means I got money rolling in. It doesn't mean that I'm not in even more debt. Feeling the smoothness of my car that got her makeover, that just means my car got some TLC. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm experiencing financial abundance. Do you see what I mean? So they mean for us to answer things like holding the cashier's check for the big deal that just closed, or I don't know. This one could be tricky. I'll say this about this method of giving 3 answers to 3 questions. You will get more intimate with your desire when you go to the trouble to come up with these 9 answers. Sometimes it's just easier to use something else. Let's go on to another method. Ooh, here's one. That's to name your favorite things about having this dream come true, where you just tell about what are the best parts of having this thing that manifested, as if it had already happened and you're living that reality now. So to demo that, what are my favorite things about having an abundance of money right at my fingertips? I might love that my life didn't change all that much because I'm going to be one of those undercover trillionaires. I said trillionaire because billionaire, it's not a word that resonates really well with me because that brings to mind some particular people I don't have super positive associations with, but I got nothing against a trillionaire. That's one thing. One of my favorite things. Another one of my favorite things is that, my guy going to work is completely optional because he doesn't have to. I got plenty of money for both of us. Same for me. I do my own work strictly because I love it, not because I need to pay the rent. I also love how enjoyable it is to support the causes that I care about. Wow, I love that. I also love that manifesting this led me to confidence in creating other dreams come true and inspired others about how easy this stuff is. I also love the pride and the satisfaction that I feel knowing that I earned this, that I created this. Man, that feels good. All right, you get the idea. Just name your favorite things as if it had already happened. Okay, next method. That's to share some details about the version of you who is living this dream come true. Like, how is she or he different from your current self? What does it feel like to be that version of you who had this dream come true? Let's demo that with our financial abundance example. So as I tune into the version of me who is living with all that money that she doesn't even know how she's going to spend it all right, that girl, she is confident. She knows who she's taken up some space in the world. She holds her head a little higher, her shoulders a little more square. She's got a sense of worthiness about her that, look, I'm embarrassed to admit it, I don't fully own. In this version of me right now, I could see that difference. That girl, she walks taller. She's owning her space. Look, any gap that we might have between who we are being now and who we're being when our dream comes true, that is a good thing for us to recognize and then start closing, because it's that gap that keeps us from that reality. Once we close that gap, we get that reality. So confidence, worthiness. The girl who's having that financial abundance, she knows how to look everyone in the eye and hold her own. What else might be different about her? I'm sensing she's got an enthusiasm for the day. That means she does not loiter in bed. That girl takes care of business. She doesn't let a to-do list get away from her. She runs a tight ship. Her business is getting handled. But she also knows that what matters most is enjoying and loving and connecting, just being present to the joys of daily life. And man, she's so good at it. Look at her sitting right there in the bunny pen. She knows what matters. She's got her priorities straight. That's a fun exercise. And look, just tuning into that version of ourselves is part of how we close that gap. If you can actually take any of those actions, or if you can actually be her more than you are right now, that just even strengthens the alignment. Okay, our next calibration exercise is an appreciation rampage. What's going right in your life right now? Just talk about what are you delighted with. You can share about your favorite things in present reality. And this can be a really good exercise for those times when it's hard to plug into your dream or desire for whatever the reason might be. Just find things to feel good about and be happy about right now that are totally unrelated. Like, one thing I might talk about is how much I love what is happening in my yard right now. It is currently being rewilded. Oh, I'm letting nature take its course here. I mean, with some guidance, with some intentionality around it. But I no longer have a perfectly manicured lawn like everyone else in the neighborhood has. Mine's got dimension. There are drifts of wildflowers and native bushes, some natural grasses, and they're providing seeds to the abundance of birds and insects that are taking refuge here. Oh my gosh, I love that I broke with the status quo to honor my core value of being a better friend in nature. I just love this. I especially love the sign at the front of my yard that lets passersby know what's going on here, that this is a pollinator paradise. And yes, this is what nature looks like. It doesn't get mowed every week. I love it. See that short little rampage? Good vibrations through and through. It can be that easy. Okay, another calibration exercise is driftwood spotting. That's where you identify manifested evidence that points to the unfolding of your desire. Like, what are the signs that it's happening? How can you tell it's underway? If I were demoing this one on financial abundance, how can I tell that my money is starting to be more? Well, first things first, I'm feeling excited for it. I'm feeling the possibility of it. Like I'm feeling more optimistic and delighted about it as I'm doing these exercises. And this is always the first manifestation, Abraham says. Our feeling, the emotion is the first manifestation, they say. So there's some driftwood right there. But when I look around, what else might I see? Ooh, you know what? In my real life, there's a guy that I have tremendous respect for who, back in the day, in the early days of my business, I collaborated with him just briefly that set my business on a whole new trajectory. Really, really good one. In fact, I have often longed to get his input on my business again, and guess who just reached out to me the other day suggesting that maybe we repartner for more manifesting fun in my business. Oh my gosh, that guy! Ooh, there's some driftwood. Like that bodes well for me. Really, really well for me. You know what? This exercise works really well when you've already got some things happening that you can point to. Sometimes if we start looking and we don't find it, it can be a little discouraging. So this might be one to use once you have driftwood in place. Just milk it a little bit. Just revel in that. There are signs that the universal wheels are turning in your favor. It's a sign you're getting closer. Okay, let's talk about another exercise we can do anytime. Oh, love this one, drafting a success mentor. Who do you know who already has what you want? Do you know anyone who's manifested it already? What do you imagine it's like for them? Just describe your ideas about their experience of living that dream come true. Drafting off someone else's vibration is such an easy way to activate it for ourselves. That's why they're always telling us to be really disciplined about who we're paying attention to, because when we see someone else having something, we're activating it within ourselves. So who do you know who's having what you already want? It doesn't have to be someone you're best friends with. It can be someone you're just getting glimpses of here or there. It could even be someone from the movies. They could be fiction. Ooh, in fact, let's do it on the example of our abundance of money. Oh, I watched a fun movie the other night. When the girl was getting out of the cab, she'd been on a long cab ride with a guy. It was Daddy-O with Sean Penn. When she got out of the cab, she left that guy a $500 tip. Oh, I really liked that. What did that feel like for her, I wonder? I imagine that she really enjoyed having a nice way to say to him that she appreciated their time together, that, it was a meaningful experience for her. It was an easy way for him to know that he made a difference to her. I'm imagining he liked it too. Not because he needed the money, but just because it was really fun evidence of their unusual connection. Oh, that's a little example. When I look for who else could I draft off, oh my word, this is so fun. I've had a couple clients this year who had their first 6-figure years in their career, and the delight that they experienced in creating that, oh my gosh. That was so fun to see them realize that and celebrate it with them. Ooh, you know what? I know another one. I just watched a guy win a dance competition. Well, I just watched it, but it happened a couple years ago. But his routine went viral. And so he got interviewed about it, and he was talking about how his whole life changed after that. Not just winning the competition, but his routine going viral. Oh my word. He said he had quadruple the gigs that he had before. But my favorite thing about what he shared was how he was on a mission to put dancers in the spotlight instead of just always being in the background for all the singers or the musicians. He's like, we deserve the spotlight. And man, that guy, he was having such a great time. And he was just a kid. Like, he must have been, I don't know, 18 or 19 when he won. I don't know if you can tell, but like, especially on that last one, I was veering kind of off the topic of money as the desire, because when I thought about that dancer as a vibrational mentor to draft off of, what I was really getting lit up by was his passion for what he loves, his success, and his success in sharing that passion with the world. That's what appeals to me. Anyway, next method. Set an intention. Wow, you can use the power of your word to set universal wheels turning in your favor just by speaking it so. You could also call on your divine team for support. So if I were to use this on calling in financial abundance, I could say something like, I intend to allow more financial abundance into my experience easily, effortlessly, enjoyably, and swiftly. Ta-da! That's it. Or I could also call in my players. I could say, guides, angels, divine team, help me line up with that. Help me be that vibration so that I can experience that financial abundance. Help me know the way there. Help me enjoy my life in the meantime. Help me see the abundance I'm already living. That's an easy way to get a vibration going in the right direction. Another method is I am worthy statements. Wow, you can amp up your receiving skills and your vibrational alignment overall just by declaring your worthiness. You can write these down, but my clients speak them out loud to me with me listening. It could be as simple as I am worthy. You could just try those 3 little words. I am worthy. You could change it up to I am capable. I am empowered. I am here. I am connected. I am on fire. I am having a fabulous time. Or whatever. But you know what else I like? Elaborate on I am worthy, like I am worthy of financial ease and abundance. I am worthy of having what I want. I am worthy of relaxing and enjoying my life. I am worthy of the support and the synchronicities and the spectacular dreams come true, or whatever you want to finish it with. It's a super fun exercise. It might be worth experimenting with writing it down too. I think you'll like that version as well. Okay, the next one is to invoke Easy World. Do you know Julia Rogers Hamrick's Easy World? It's where you just repeat the following statement. I choose to live in Easy World where everything is easy. And you can either put a period there or you can finish it off with what it is you're manifesting. Like, for example, I choose to live in Easy World where everything is easy, including allowing an abundance of financial ease and enjoyment to manifest in my world, or something like that. Here's another method. Noah St. John, you could use his affirmations. So that's where you just form your intention, but you put it in the past tense question form of your success. Like, how did I get so good at, and fill in the blank? Or why is it so delicious to have, and just complete the sentence with whatever your dream or desire is. Like, how did I get so rich? Or why is there so much money here for me? Or where did all this money come from? Or how did I get so financially savvy? Why am I so good with money all of a sudden? You just make them up. And all we do is entertain the questions. We don't try to answer them. We don't try to make them true. The power is in entertaining the question because the brain likes to fill in the blanks. It likes to close the loop for you. So the power is just in entertaining the question. All right, let's just do a couple more here. Ooh, releasing attachment. Ooh, I'm a big fan of this one. Remember that your well-being does not depend on this dream manifesting in your reality. You can declare your happiness regardless of what happens. Like, I'm fine either way, or if not this, something better, just so that we don't get so needy for it to happen. So for my example on financial abundance, I might say, yes, I am calling in an incredible amount of money, and in the meantime, I'm still having a good time. Life is still easy to enjoy. There are still plenty of things I appreciate and revel in, like watching my cats play together, or appreciating new music that I find, or whenever I find warmth and comfort in the world. All right, let's do one or two more. Ooh, here's a fun one, a self-love rampage. Ooh, you can just share what's cool about you. and maybe why you're perfect for this manifestation. Like, what makes you so special? Make that list. Have that top of mind. It is a really cool thing. It'll enhance your worthiness and your receiving skills to know yourself as someone who deserves this. Because remember how the world can only be as good to us as we are to ourselves? So, yeah, self-love is a good thing to plug into. Another calibration exercise worth mastering. Wow, this one. Better feeling thoughts. That's where you just find some thoughts that are even just slight improvements over your current thought train. This is another staple of vibration management. If I were doing that on financial abundance, it depends on where you're at currently, but you just want slight improvements. Like, my money's always had a way of working out. I'm open to learning. I'm learning right now. I've got plenty of time to get this figured out. I've made it this far. I don't know. Whatever thoughts feel better to you. It's super, super personal. Really, what I wanted to do with this episode was, well, number one, have a resource available for how to do the actual alignment work. So when people say, yeah, but how do I line up with what I want? What does it look like to practice having it? Okay, this is my answer to that. But also, I'd love for this episode to be a reminder to do the actual alignment work, everyone, because that's what makes the difference. We don't just do this for 3 days and then go back to our old habits. Or maybe you do, but then the next time you wonder why your life hasn't changed much, remember, it can only ever be what you vibrate. So if you want something new, you need a new vibration for that. And these are just a few ways to get there. There isn't any way to get this wrong. However you orient to feeling better, you're doing the good work. If you liked the sounds of doing this work with someone else, find a manifesting buddy to do it with, or we're doing this almost every Monday at Good Vibe University on a live group call. You're invited to play with us. Or if you wanted to do some private work together, I will be doing some more of these vibe calibrations in 2025 if you want to get partnered on that. All right, hope you got some inspiration from this. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy manifesting.